Hello everyone, I'm Kibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where last time we unlocked and got ionized fuel and packaged it for our jetpack shenanigans. And then also, for real, actually this time fixed our nuclear power plant. And power has never been so consistent. And so with practically infinite power shards, and unlimited convenience, today we're finally going to start playing the game. For real. That is the true mega factories of this world for the final space elevator parts. Nuclear pasta, the sculptors, servers, and warp drives. We will be using practically all the world's resources to make as many of these as we possibly can.
But Kibbs, you only need like 1,000 of each. Why would you make so many?
Because why have some when you could have more? And also, why make so much power if we don't use it, right? Doesn't make any sense. Scary thing is, we actually might use it all. I have some pretty intense projects planned, and oof, the first one is probably gonna be the worst one. And unlike the nuclear project, I'm gonna tell you guys where we're going this time. Kind of because it's obvious if you think about it, and also because it is going to be the most power-intensive thing I think we do in the world. And it is going to be for nuclear pasta. The pasta is simple. It takes copper powder and pressure conversion cubes. Each particle accelerator can take up to 1,500 megawatts and makes about half a pasta per minute. That's a lot of power per pasta. And we're gonna be making an obscene amount of pasta. Now, why I say it's a little obvious is because if you kind of been counting and tracking the numbers I've been messing around with, you're gonna know how much pasta we're gonna make. And well, I'll let you figure it out now. We're making 82.4 pressure conversion cubes per minute in the factory. And our nuclear power plant here uses 22.4 of them per minute, leaving us with 60 per minute. And if you do the math on that, that leaves us with 60 pressure conversion cubes to spare. Mix that with the math here, where one pressure conversion cube equals one pasta, and well, there you have it. We're aiming to make 60 nuclear pasta per minute. But okay, what's the big deal about that? 60 nuclear pasta per minute, you already have the pressure conversion cubes. That just means you need a bunch of copper powder. Well, to process all this nuclear pasta, we're gonna need 120 of these particle accelerators, which equates to about 180,000 megawatts. But that's no big deal. We have plenty of power. But the big deal is the copper powder. You see, 100 copper powder per minute times 120 particle accelerators equals 12,000 copper powder. And the only way to make copper powder is with this recipe here. 300 copper ingots gets you 50 copper powder. So doing the math there, 12,000 divided by 50 constructors is 240 constructors, each of which needs 300 copper ingots. So 240 times 300 is 72,000 copper ingots per minute we need. And the only recipe that can handle this kind of thing is the pure copper ingot recipe, where it takes 15 copper ore to give you 37.5 copper ingots. And 72,000 divided by 37.5 is a big number of refineries. A big number, a huge number. And copper ore, did I tell you about the copper ore? It's gonna be 28,800 copper ore. That is 80% of the copper in the entire world. So that is why the nuclear pasta project is gonna be a bit of a big deal. So which biome shall be sacrificed? Well, the nice thing about the pasta, at least, is that the project only needs one thing. Copper powder and a lot of room, right? So I want to go somewhere that doesn't have a lot of resources, but has practically unlimited space. And I realized the Gold Coast is where it's at. So this is where we're gonna make the pasta. And the plan is to build all of the particle accelerators off across these couple islands, and then we're gonna use our worldwide train network to bring in all of the copper powder. Because there ain't no way we're processing 72,000 copper ingots here. But we'll do some processing. There are some local nodes, but we'll get to that after we set up Project Hoos. Praise be Project Hoos. This is just like a little temporary workstation that we can throw around all over the place. And we can write down all of our numbers. Don't you just love the visuals and seeing how absolutely insane this idea is? Yeah, yep. Crazy stuff. 120 particle accelerators? Bit of a thing. I'm considering actually adding 2 overclocks to them, so we only have to build 60 particle accelerators, but I don't know, we'll see. I will say, I am so glad that we have infinite power shards and we're making them, because instead of making almost 2,000 refineries, if we fully overclock them, we only need 768. The resource collection is still insane, but hey, that's, I don't know, a little bit better, I guess. The big thing is though, we need a way better refinery blueprint if this is how many refineries we gotta make. So we're gonna need an upgrade. We need the Blueprint Designer Mark III with a 6x6 grid instead of the 5x5 in the Mark II. That'll help a ton. And we have practically everything we need to unlock it. We have the fuse modular frames, trigons, and time crystals. It's just we need the neural quantum processors. They're a little computer that
Utilize a combination of neural network architecture and quantum computing techniques to achieve unprecedented performance. This technology has enabled us to fix advancements in artificial intelligence and relative physics and engineering.
So pretty much it's like the fix-it trigon of the computers. The super computer. And what's even better is we have all the items necessary in order to make it. So 1, 2, 3-ish. Now let's automate our new friend. Off in our general workspace. So we have a nice big area over here for all this super advanced tech, like the dark matter crystals and SAM fluctuator stuffs and whatever. And I'm pretty sure we use the quantum encoder to make the neural quantum stuff. Ooh, it has a byproduct. Dark matter residue? Gross. Power 2000, no biggie. And then excited photonic matter, trigons, time crystals. Okay, that is actually super easy, barely an inconvenience. The time crystals and trigons, literally right over here. This is where we make the trigons. The time crystals skewed out this way and go into a bunch of bins over here. So we'll just need to reroute some of that stuff. The photonic matter is just made in a converter here out of, oh my gosh, nothing. Literally nothing. If we just make it out of thin air with some electricity. Fantastic. That's practically done. And then the last thing was supercomputers? Guess what? Supercomputers? Sitting pretty right over here, bud. So we just gotta bring that all together and then get rid of the byproduct, the excess dark matter residue, which is probably the biggest problem. However, I have all the alternate recipes in the game, one of which solves that byproduct issue entirely. So in a particle accelerator, there's an alternate recipe called dark matter crystallization. It just takes a residue, makes it into crystals, and it's gone. That's it. That's all we need. Overclock this out the wazoo, deals with like all the dark matter ever, and we're good. Plus, we can use those crystals in like other projects. And if not, there's always the dumpster. Praise be the dumpster. However, there is actually one for real problem that we have to work around. And that is that the quantum encoders, at least when they're running, make this cool like aurora effect or whatever, where it shoots like a beam of light into the sky. So that's your Q encoder. Come on, friendo, don't be shy. There we go. Yeah, this beam of light goes through objects. So if we're building any quantum encoders in our main base over there, we gotta build this outside. And I was thinking, since we are kind of finishing up our main base at this point, it'd be really cool if I could fill up the back wall over here. We don't have a lot happening on this wall because it doesn't face the sun and it's always dark. But I would like the aurora going through and making the place look better. So we're gonna clear out this wall and build the quantum encoder on the side of the base. So hold H, nudge it on out, and we'll build it floating all pretty like right there. Decorating will be a whole pain in the butt, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Rule of cool, am I right? And you know what will be really cool? Using the Mark 6 belts. Because the Mark 6 belts are kind of like force fields or whatever, I feel like it makes sense if they're doing a little bit of floaty, naughty stuff. So we'll have them just coming out of the base and into there. And then for the pipe, well, the pipe is kind of like inset into the machine in a way. You see what I mean there? And we could have that look really cool by having the pipe go from here to there. Okay, wait, one second here. We can make this look good. Just scoot this on through to like there, then go to there, then go to here, get rid of the support, Hey, doesn't that look awesome, bud? Ooh, plus, it's freaking excited photonic matter. If we just give it a little bit of an indicator and painted it, that would look great if we could actually see into the pipe. Excuse me? What if we use the Mark 1? Where's the indicator? I'm so confused. Do the indicators just not work? Are they bugged? Huh. I know there's no minimum distance on these. I'm pretty sure the game's just being a little bit of a punk busta. Anyway, pretend there's an indicator there. I know it can work. It'll be fine. And then we just need material. And oh my gosh, if you haven't seen the excited photonic matter in a pipe yet, oh, you're in for a treat. Check this out. Having the ice white pipe with like the cool photonic matter in there. Oh, it looks so good. Oh my gosh, I might even just throw these pipes all over the place, just as like a cool aesthetic on the walls. I have no idea, but oh, absolutely love it. And I love how easy this project is. We just have to bring that pipe over to there, and then, oh yeah, we need a particle accelerator to deal with the excess dark matter residue. Because there's a little bit of wall here. Ooh, and there's 2 tiles right there. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna throw in a buffer. Me and my homies freaking love industrial buffers. They could add a cool texture to the wall. And then, okay, yeah. Is this all the pieces to the puzzle? I think so. Kibbs, you know what to do. Boop it. Oh my gosh, the convenience of the boobs. Am I right or am I right? All right, so yeah, organize the puzzle pieces in a bit of a more coherent way. All of the dark matter is being recycled here. You know what? Send it. Just fully overclock this. Who cares? We have all the power in the world, right? So don't need to worry about the residual stuff. All of the items have been reorganized quite a bit. So they all scoot over this way, along with the photonic matter, through this metal wall area, into the quantum encoder. Look at the aurora. Wow, wow, wow. Localized on the side of my factory? Incredible. Also, hopefully we can see that from the front of the base eventually as well. As for the dark matter residue and the items, dark matter residue, I was like, hey, pipes are cool. Let's add in extra pipes and then throw it into the buffer. The item scoots up, over, back into the base and into a bin. And then just added in some supports so it didn't look like this was just floating in the air. It's just a little strange when things are floating. System is done, simple and pretty, and we are ready to move on. All we needed were 100 of these computers. And then we can open the door. Let me in, let me in, let me in. We're in. Launch the pod. Ada, berate me viciously.
Milestone reached. The Blueprint Designer Mark III allows for 20% increased blueprint size in all dimensions, for an overall 71.2% increase in volume. Sadly, I doubt we will see equivalent increases in your efficiency.
I've learned to like the abuse. Okay, Ada, thanks, tips. Let's go and make our new blueprint maker. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. So long ago, we made this our main blueprint making room. Had the Mark II. Yeah, get out of Dodge, buddy. You're over. We're in the Mark III era. Please don't be expensive. That's pretty expensive, but doable. Those neural quantum processor things, they're a bit of a beast. I am not looking forward to like automating those for real, for real. That's a lot of resources and time. But okay, the Mark III. It's snuggled against the wall here. Nice. Make sure it's all centered where it will stay forever and ever. I'm pretty sure this is centered. Yes. Computer, are you in the middle? You are. Then we're done. All right. Look at all of that space for so many activities. Am I right or am I right? One of the main things I actually want to see with the Mark III here is how many particle accelerators we can fit in here. You have to build 120 of these, so, you know, it'd be real nice if we could fit, 3 in here. We can't even fit 2? What is this world? What if, squish? Oh, you. Well, well, well. We can fit 2 in here. This looks kind of funky, though. Maybe we'll mess with this sort of blueprint later. No, first, refineries. And the main thing I want to figure out is how many refineries we can fit in this sucker. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5? You can't fit 5? What a punk busta. We can fit 4 though. But do I really want to fit 4? I don't know about that, Chief. So RIP, I guess we didn't actually need the Mark III designer. And we're just gonna go to a Mark II blueprint and let her rip. Whatever. it's fine. We needed this technology no matter what. We're definitely gonna do something with the Mark III blueprint maker and the particle accelerators later on. Right now, one thing at a time. Let's build this, our old copper blueprint making thing, and let's adjust it. The major adjustments I wanna make is one, getting rid of the aesthetic stuff. It needs to be way more simple because we're gonna have so many of these blueprints spammed everywhere. So I don't want all of these objects lagging my game. Next, holy smokes, using the Mark VI belts will be a game changer. So let's get them involved. And then mission critically, there needs to be a way for the blueprints to auto-connect from one to another, not just with the belts, but with the pipes. The auto-connect feature in the game doesn't work with the junctions for whatever reason, so we instead have to use a support. So we're just gonna like tuck that in, I don't know, here, sure, doesn't really matter. And then that should be fine, because now there's something for like the blueprints to latch onto. Now, is that it? Almost. First, power shards out the wazoo. That is not a concern anymore. And although we didn't want too many details, I do want like some aesthetics, right? You gotta have a couple aesthetics. Let's use something with concrete pillars. It's a really convenient decorative tool because they clip together really, really nicely. So on this end, let's just throw these, I don't know, underneath the feetsies, and we'll clip this through the mergers and stuff too. It is clipping, I know, but it's fine. Some things are acceptable. I lied, it wasn't acceptable. I actually just totally redid the whole blueprint and I raised everything up and now it's much better. Much better. Looks like the beam is being supported by the merger and the splitters and it's great. Much better. So same principles as before though. We got the pipeline support there. Belts are here. A couple of small frame pillars in between just so it's not floaty. And this should be good to go. The main thing is if we take the blueprint, does it actually auto-connect? First blueprint, we'll just set down freeform. Then we'll go to blueprint auto-connect mode and put it into place. The good and bad of this base is everything is blueprint, so getting this to connect can be a little tricky, but I'm seeing that it's locking together. So click once to confirm, click twice to build. How are we looking? It's mostly the pipes I'm worried about. Pipe is in. Belts together, and system is spammable. Perfect. And the last little thing I was thinking about was at the end of the line, you just throw in another little frame pillar as like an end support. So that's something we'll have to do manually all the time, but compared to all the time we're saving with this blueprint alone, super worth it. Big fan. So we should probably get to it then, eh? And we're gonna set up our first couple refineries over in the Gold Coast. There are a couple nodes right there, so that's 600 copper per minute. And then there is a pier node off this way. I think that's it right there. That I brought underneath our train track, belted all the way over, and we're gonna process that too. Blueprint designers are in. Big temp dumpster already. And it's time to get started. Wait, bees. I don't like bees. Get out of my workspace. This is mine. Cease? Life? No more living in my world? Don't spawn, don't spawn, don't spawn. Ooh, nice. Billy? Billy? What do you think you're doing here? You're not unemployed. Out of here. Well, and let's get spamming some concrete and paving the world. We're not gonna pave this whole biome, but most of it, probably. Like the particle accelerators alone, that's a lot of space. But even with the 1,800 copper ore per minute that we brought in here, that's gonna be a good chunk of refineries. Wait a second, how many refineries will that be? If each one needs 15 ore per minute, that's 120 refineries, but then fully overclocked, 48? Actually not too bad. Just gonna be a little bit about positioning. So our main train track is here, and I'm thinking we're gonna build all of the train stations off over this way. I don't know how many trains or stations we're gonna need, so that should be enough space. And then, yeah, by the time we get the trains in here, all of this temporary stuff will be out of the way. So we'll leave that be for now, and we'll do most of the normal building off this way. We'll leave like a tile in between the tracks and the machines. You know what? I'm feeling crazy today. 2 tiles between the tracks and machines. JK, I'm not that crazy. 1 tile, okay? I'm gonna start building over this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, how many blueprints do we need? That's 12. That's 15. 18? There's no way it's like 21. Wait, it's 24, right? That's, I lost count. Dang it. Actually, hold up. We are going to be making a lot of these refineries, right? So I spent a moment setting up this first set and doing the math properly. And the deal is, we are pretty much always going to have either a Mark 6 belt with 1,200 items or a Mark 5 belt with 600 items, right? So we should build every system to handle 600 copper ore per minute. Makes sense. And if we're dealing with 600 ore divided by 37.5, a fully overclocked refinery, that means we need 16 refineries. And if we have 16 refineries, each making 93.75 copper ingots per minute, that is going to be 2 belts of 1,500. But good news about 1,500. If we divide that in 2, and then throw that into a constructor, making copper powder, well, the numbers are really messy. 300, 750 to 300, what? But actually, fully overclocked, each constructor will take 750 copper ingots. So all of these refineries, these 16 in the row here, all go towards one constructor. Wow. Wait, no, two constructors. Yeah, see? Much better. Oh my gosh, though, after finishing up all the refineries and like doing the last connection bits, I may have picked some crazy targets, maybe even a little too crazy for me. All of this, 1,800 ore, goes into this handful of constructors. This is it, for 750 copper powder per minute. All of this for a drop of sauce. Jeez Louise, this pasta is gonna be insane. Okay, but first system is done. Got the water from, would not believe where. And then at the end of each system, we just always want to bring the fluids up to a buffer to prevent slooshing. Don't want slooshing, want everything running perfectly, please and thank you. Okay, I guess though that is our very first biome conquered and rated for its copper. And now we can go into here and say that, hey, 1,800 for real is collected and powder processed 750, which is an entire, oh my gosh, 6.25% of the project. Woo! Numbers on the board. What an accomplishment. But now we need more sauce for the pasta. And where do we have more sauce to make? Over in the green fields. This is where we have our massive iron factory for the pressure conversion cubes. But also while I was working on this, I was going around gathering other resources, namely the copper ore. So a lot of it is sitting around, ready and waiting to go, like this node of 600 per minute. So believe it or not, more refineries. So let's start paving again and building even more. Woo! This is my life now. Rows and rows and rows and rows of refineries until the end of time. And this was like the easy part as well. We have infrastructure here. We already had water pipes like out the wazoo over that way, so I just yoinked a couple more and sent them on in. Each row, again, requires 600 copper ore per minute and then about 400 water per minute. So it's not like all too bad ratio-wise. It's just when we have to go to like totally undeveloped areas, it's gonna be pretty freaking oof. And oh yeah, I've been losing my mind over this as well. Especially because I worked on a lot of this project during like a big stream marathon I did over on Twitch. And after building all of this, I was so happy that there's a nice unused train station nearby to transport all the goods. I was like, yippee, we can just connect this to the main loop and send it to where it needs to be. But then, after kind of looking around this train station, I noticed underneath here, oh, what is this? Is there another copper belt just hidden in here? Couldn't see it there, but there is! Oh my gosh, guess who didn't build the refineries for that? It was this guy, ImKibitz. I didn't make the refineries for that. I thought I was done over here, but nope. We need more. And to balance things out, I guess we'll just build them over this way then. Sure, why not? Good idea, Mr. Bean? Yeah. Turns out Mr. Bean did not like that. That's kind of reasonable. He kind of just chilling, then suddenly, oh hey, refinery's out the wazoo. Well, what are you gonna do? I need my copper powder, okay? It's just the copper powder has to be so expensive. But then it's like, Gibbs, you could have made this pasta. But then it's like, I need lots of pasta. How am I gonna open my restaurant, right? You need pasta, you need sauce, and the sauce is the powder, and the powder goes that way. And the powder needs to be made here because this is where the copper is. Okay, Mr. Bean, you're picking up what I'm putting down? Good. Well, now you don't have to worry about me either, because guess what? The CPOW, the 1250, is already and loaded into this new and improved train station and will be sent to space. But one kind of really cool thing is that, hey, we have now absolutely obliterated this biome. There are no more resources here to collect. The green fields is dead. It is all ours now. Plundered and shipped out to our factories. See you later, nerd. And off to the project area, where we can now go to the board and update our numbers. Whoa, 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 whoa. To 14.6% completion. Wow, we're there. That's like more than half a quarter of the project done. We're flying through this. Wow, yippee. And actually, we can't keep calling it this project. I want to give this like a cool name. And again, I was working on this while I was live streaming, right? And the Twitch chat had some pretty interesting ideas. Should we call this Project Spaghetti Sauce? Mission Incomparable? The Powder Trip? The Copper Crusade? Which name should we go with? Or, if you have a better suggestion, leave it in the comments below. But I am high-key losing my mind at this point already, and I think I need to stop. So last thing I just quickly did was I brought a drone over that can bring the pressure conversion cubes for the project. And then, yeah, later on I guess we'll use them when we're done with all of the copper powder, the 12,000 of it, after we build the 1,000 refineries. Oh boy. But again, we'll be working at this project over the next long while. And next time, I think we're going to do something different. However, though, that is going to be all for now. But if you enjoyed, remember to subscribe for more. And until then, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.